Okay, we are on. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. We're going to talk tonight. I was just kind of going over, we're going to talk tonight a little bit about the Emerald Extravaganza was just a couple of weeks ago where the Emeralds and above were in Maui, and we have a little bit of notes of tips from the top. So, you know, it's what's really awesome about these is that some of the people that were there in Maui were silver at this time last year. So it does not matter what rank you are right now, where it matters how big you're dreaming and how big your goals are. And there is absolutely no reason that all of us cannot be there next year. So we have until July 31st to qualify for the Emerald trip. But these are just a couple of tips from the top that I was just going to read. I took a little bit of notes on here. And so some of these might be things that you've heard before. And again, we always say this is not rocket science, that it's not hard work. It's just putting yourself out there and, being comfortable and duplicating the system. So the first one is from Christine who's a Diamond Ambassador. And she basically says, duplicate your team, get committed. You have, from right now, you have 10 months to make it to Maui. And in reality, right now starts the crunch time. So get busy, stop making excuses, decide what you can personally do. And she said the beauty of it all is that all you have to do is duplicate. Find something that works for you and duplicate those efforts every single day. And so, 10 months from now, making it happen. So those were her tips. The next one is from Anne Ray. She talks about customer retention. And she talks about a lot of our teams are wholesale customers, which is great. And, for those of you that are newer, wholesale customers are ones that joined to be an ambassador just simply for wholesale pricing to take the products themselves, which, is always fantastic. That's why we're all here. We fell in love with the products. But she said, the most important thing you can do as a leader is to listen. And when she talks about listening, she talks about active listening. Engage all of your senses. Means to get yourself to a quiet place, both internally and externally, to listen. It helps with distractions. So and that also helps personally when you're talking about, thinking about what you have to do for the day or thinking about the time that you have to yourself to work the business. Most of us, are full-time working, or we stay at home and we have kids and family and chaos all going on, which leads to chaos and confusion if we're all trying to wrap it up, together at one time. So she said a really important thing is to set business hours for yourself. She said this has changed her business and it's really helped her listen well. So it's a time of the day when you're in a quiet place and you're able to focus on the messages and interacting with your customers and your team. Now, the beauty of network marketing, just from my own personal experience, is that we can make videos in our car while we're waiting at the bus stop. And we can talk to a friend or team member or be on a call when we're with our kids. That's the whole beauty of it. But I think what she's probably saying is that if you do have only 15 or 30 minutes a day to put what you have into working the business, set those business hours for yourself and be accountable for them. So say every day, okay, 30 minutes, this is my time, shut your phone down, or whatever you're not working on, shut it down and really take time to focus and be for yourself and kind of set your own business hour. And I think that once you have that set, some of the chaos and craziness that you're feeling or stressed out might dissipate a little bit because you have your own private time. She also says that when you're listening to ambassadors or customers, you have to uncover what your real needs are. Ask about, what are your health goals, maybe outside of weight loss or maybe outside of building your immune system. What are your health goals? Because when you can uncover what their goals are, then you can suggest a product regimen that can help them with their goals. And also to follow up. A couple of times a week in the beginning when they start taking their products and help them troubleshoot. Everybody probably gets a little bit nervous. We send emails of instructions on how to take products, but if people get busy, they might print it out and not read it and start right away. So it's really important when somebody's starting out to follow up with them, make sure they understand, make sure that you're giving them your own personal tips, and then follow up again with them a couple of days later after they've been taking it. about increasing your business. This is still Ann Ray. She said the next step is to add a couple of products. So what she has found is that she used in the beginning to really talk about triplex to everybody. And triplex is my favorite. It's a favorite of a lot of us on the team. But she felt that what she was finding is that not everybody was really ready for triplex and the commitment they needed to taking it properly. Or if she offered the triplex and they knew it was going to be 3 products, that they were a little bit nervous to dive right in. Now, some people aren't. Some people are like, I'm ready, let's do it, let's get my gut healthy. Some people, if they're on a budget right away, or if they might feel that that's a little bit overwhelming for them, she said, a good step for those type of individuals is to add a couple of products to their regimen every so often. So maybe start them out with, Slim and X Factor. And then you say, okay, maybe now it's really great time for you for a cleanse or to add a probiotic. And this will help build their loyalty and productivity with the Plexus products. And then once you have their loyalty, then they have that belief, they have that trust, and it's a really great time then to upgrade them to an ambassador, whether that be at the 30-day mark, at the 60-day mark, at the 90-day mark, whenever you feel like you have their loyalty and belief. She did say she does start everyone out with the Slim and the X Factor because she feels that helps with energy and helps absorbing vitamins and nutrients. And as we age, our body loses the ability to absorb things. So once they feel the positive effects of Slim and X Factor, then again, it's time to add on another product to help them. So that was Ann Ray. The next one I just have 2 more. Danielle Pulley. This amazing girl went Sapphire in 9 months. She went Emerald in 5 months. She went and then on to Sapphire in 9 months. But she's really good to point out to say that this is not a race. Everyone's journey is different, but you have to have that unshakable belief. Unshakable belief in the products, unshakable belief in the company, and unshakable belief in network marketing. She said there's something that is holding most people back, and that can be different for everyone. But it's really important to dig deep in yourselves, or maybe with someone that you're talking to, and find out what's holding them back from going forward. Because she said she used to be scared what if people told me no? What if people wouldn't like the products? What if they would laugh at me if I posted on Facebook? But then she got to the point where, their opinions don't matter. Put that aside and have that belief, have that consistency. Don't reach out to someone and not follow back up with them. Keep coming back to them if you really believe in that person. She said that most jewels there, it didn't mean, most jewels that were in Maui, it doesn't mean that they had, a ton of level 1 rock stars. If they found their golden nugget, that one person on their team, she said, if I told you that there were 2 golden bricks in your backyard, would you stop digging? And her point of saying that is, out of your entire network, out of your dream team list, out of your friends that you want to link arms with and do this with and not leave behind, there's going to be that golden person there that's going to see the same vision and have the same excitement as you. So, keep digging, keep looking. Do not stop looking for that person because they're going to be out there. She said, and then she ended it with just go out there and have that unshakable belief. And then the last one is Amy Welch, who was a Sapphire ambassador. She says that it took her 8 months and that, you can do it. You have to draw your line in the sand and have to decide that you can do it. But then you have to decide that you will do it. She said there's a big difference. You have to work your Plexus business every single day. She said you don't have to work it 1,000 miles an hour and be perfect at it every single day, but you can't take a day off, just like your regular job. So for her, she posted every day, sent messages every day, was on her team page every day. She said it was the real deal and that many of her friends that were there with her this time were silver at this time last year. So that was her, advice. And I'm going to get a little bit into when she says, you have to work it every single day. I think that's important, but I also think it's really important what I'm going to talk about. The speaker that they had that's also going to be at Leaders Retreat. So Ruth and I will bring home a lot of information for you from Leaders Retreat. her name's Carrie Wilkerson, and she is the Barefoot Executive, and she has a really good blog spot. She talked to the Jewels there 2 days out of the week, and they said that their notebooks were full, absolutely full of notes. Before I get into a little bit about what she said, they did mention that there's a lot of exciting things coming our way that we're going to have access to within the back office, and different training materials that we'll have access to specifically to help newer ambassadors and getting them off to the right start. And a lot of these announcements will be coming through Leaders Retreat, but there's a lot of exciting things coming up, and I think that's going to really add on to what the new back office is and all the new shareables and the new training tools. I think they've really heard us and listened, and in order to be able to duplicate our system, we need to have something set in place that's very easy and not where we have to recreate everything. So they did talk about Carrie Wilkerson. I wanted to say that she really helped them all focus on how to manage their time and run their business and how to set their goals. She talked about doing life and business your way. How do you make more? How do you live more? How do you give more? One thing that she said that is a struggle for a lot of people is that you can look at people and say that they've done this, but they're still here, and you're looking at yourself and you're comparing yourself to other people. But with success, there is no comparison. You have to look like what your journey looks for you. And maybe that's to be in Hawaii. Maybe that's to be gold or make $500 a month. She said success is in the eye of the beholder. And I find this a lot, and this was kind of in her notes, that, you hear people say, or I've heard people say in the past, well, I'm just silver. That's awesome. I mean, you own that. Don't just say that I'm just silver, because that's success. If you're working your business and you have one customer and one ambassador, that's success. So it's really important for us to stop comparing what our version of success is compared with somebody else's version of success. She said you have to define what success looks like for you. Make a goal and break down that goal into smaller stepping stones to help you reach it. So it's really good to have these amazing goals out there and these big goals. But sometimes it might be able to feel overwhelming if you're trying to reach for that and it seems impossible. But if you break it down into little stepping stones, it seems to be every milestone that you make, you're getting a little bit closer and closer. So she said that have ownership. You can build this business part-time, but you have to work, and she called it an executive mindset. Don't treat this business like a hobby. So with an executive mindset, that's basically saying, okay, if you have 15 or 30 minutes a day, what would that look like to work your business? Make those minutes count. So with an executive mindset, if it's an executive CEO that's running their business and they have 15 minutes a day, what would their day look like? How would that CEO work their business with the short time frame? And this will, if you think about that in that mindset, it will help you work smarter and not harder. She also talked about, what is your why? And I think we talk about this a lot on our team. I think we talk about this a lot when somebody's starting out. We talk about putting a challenge out there about posting your why video on your page. And, what does that look like? What would your why and your dreams look like for your life and for your family's life? She talked about loving on people, and that's really the cornerstone of the business that we're in, is building relationships. And to make more, you need to make more relationships and cultivate them, and the rest will follow. And I know maybe if some of us have been doing this a little bit longer than others, if we feel like we've tapped out on our warm network of friends, then go out there and create new relationships, talk to people, build a bond. If you're talking to them for the first time, you might not bring up Plexus at all, but it's definitely something to build relationships on. And if they find out what you're doing and they get to know you, they're going to trust you, and they're going to want to follow in the footsteps. And who doesn't want to feel better too and try the products. She did talk about, if you guys haven't, some of us have read this book, but it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. So it's a really popular book that my friend, that Kate Owen had talked about, that she read, and it really helped her through and kind of changed her mindset and shifted her mindset up. There's a lot of books out there, So, and I know some of us have our favorites, but if you haven't read How to Win Friends and Influence People, it's supposed to be a really, really good one. The other thing that she talked a lot about is the margin in our life. And this is kind of what I was going off of what I just read from Amy Welch about needing to work this business every single day. And I think that's super important. But I also think that this is really important about what Carrie Wilkerson said. She said that we all need our white space. We need to free up space in our life. And she kind of compared it during the meeting in Maui. She compared it to the people who were taking notes. And some people were writing all the way across the piece of paper, even into the margin. And they were filling up the complete page of paper. And she said to leave some margins and white space in our life to free up space for our family, for our friends, for our faith, that we're going to be happier and being able to focus on our Plexus business and be completely all in. She said that you're taking care of yourself with your white space. So how do you find that? How do you find that space? And that could be setting up your office hours like we talked about a little bit ago, even if that's 15 or 30 minutes or a couple of hours a day. She was mentioning to some people that if you have kids and you are usually getting woken up by your kids sometimes, then you're going to feel that your kids are kind of dragging you and leading your day. But she was telling them that what she has been doing and offered this as a suggestion is get up an hour before, even if it's really early in the morning, get up an hour before your family, get up 20 minutes before and have that private time so that you feel like you're in power of your own day, of your own time. I thought that was really important and might make me get up at like 2 in the morning every day, but hey, whatever happens. She said that if everyone set up a power hour, 1 hour, 4 days a week, can you imagine what that would do for all of our businesses and for the company? So that's if every single ambassador did a power hour. It's 4 hours per week. She said that she doesn't mean when she says power hour, she doesn't mean answering team members' questions or scrolling through Facebook. She meant 1 solid hour of income producing activities, of IPAs, reaching out to potentials, following up with potentials, finding who needs our products and finding those people on our list of who we can reach out to. So 1 solid hour, 4 hours a week. If we all did that, imagine what type of income that all of the Plexus ambassadors could have the potential to make. And she said that she really feels like that would be doing something amazing for our business. But I really liked that one. I thought that was neat. I know that, we have our daily method of operation sheets and different ways to go, but I thought that might be, even down the road or starting soon, that might be a really fun thing for all of us to be, hold each other accountable for and have a power hour. And, if you don't have a full hour of the day, you could break it up into 15-minute increments all throughout the day. But as long as you're focusing on income producing activities and doing that, I think that would be something that is that could be huge for all of us. She said that turn your excuses into the reasons that you must do better. So she used an example. The biggest excuse that she hears from a lot of people is, I don't have time. But she said, what if you turned that into your reason why you're doing this so that you could have more time? So if you worked hard and filled those gaps with income producing activities every single day, then you might be working a little bit harder than what you normally are, but that the benefits of what that looks like later for you are completely worth it. Because if you don't feel like you have the time to do it because you're so busy, this is going to give you and offer you that freedom later on down the road. So she was urging everybody to turn their excuses into the reason of why they want to do better. Maybe that's to give more to your family or retire early or pay off debt. She also said that leadership is not a title, that your actions and words make you a leader. Just because you're a jewel, it doesn't matter. Treat your business like you're the CEO and your words and your actions dictate. It's not the rank that defines you or what people see you as your rank. It's your words and your actions. Being proactive and positive. There is an acronym called, she uses the BRAD, B-R-A-D. And it stands for boundaries, routine and rituals, accountability, and deadlines. And she said this is a really, really great method on how you should go after your goals. So the B, boundaries. Make a list of 5 to 10 people in your life. Then after you make that list, she said she puts a positive or a negative next to their name. So for positive, it means that these are people that bring joy to your life, people that lift you up, that make you laugh. For negative, she said that's for people that maybe you feel like don't believe in you or bring you down or make you feel sad. And I'm pretty confident that we could probably all say that we have some people like that in our lives for some reason or another. And then she said, after you make that list, try to spend time with the positive people. And then also set boundaries with your work hours again. Turn off your cell phone, no distractions. Hold yourself accountable for those work hours and make it your own. So that's the B. The R, routine and rituals. Having a morning routine so you don't have to think about things. So this is kind of clearing your head. So maybe waking up before people wake up, your family wakes up. Get a clear head and set your day. Whatever that looks like for you. If that means that, like for me, I spend a lot of time being like, oh my gosh, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? What am I going to make? Maybe figure that out ahead of time. Get all of those extra things off of your mind so that you can have a clear head. And then utilizing a power hour and making that a part of your routine. But your routine has to be yours. Be something that you can do every day. It's always good to get advice and to say, okay, well, how do you do this? But if you can merge and integrate all these different great ideas, but you have to make it yours and make it replicable and non-negotiable. So I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it. It's not really a question if you're going to get it done, but it's how you're going to get it done. So the next one is the A, accountability. She talked about tracking your activity and keeping track of that. So that could be your really prime focus. So, a lot of us are reaching out to a lot of people, but you don't want to forget about who you reached out to. You don't want to forget about who said no to you. Keep track of those no's. I think that's really important. Talk about recording, reporting, and then taking responsibility for that activity. So keep track of your IPAs. Who are you following up with? If you don't have an accountability partner, and I know that we've talked about this before, get one. Ask me, ask your upline, anybody for advice. We're all here to help each other. But if you have a specific person or a very small group of people, we're all in support of each other on this team. But if you have somebody that you can, be accountable with, pair up with them, or we will help you connect the dots and pair up with them as well. But it's really great because it helps control your activity. And once you have your activity controlled and you're accountable with someone, the results will follow and come in. And then the D in the Brad is deadline. The deadline is really the reason why we get things done. And she has it kind of paired off. So define, divide, declare, and discipline. So define what your goals are. Divide, and that's where she says divide it up into the steps that you take until you get there. So that's talking about going back to the stepping stones of your goal. And then declare it. Tell your sponsor, tell your friend, post it on your Facebook page. I'm going to be in Maui in 2017, and post it. So declare it. It doesn't matter, that's your goal. So you're declaring it in front of people. And then discipline. Have it in your daily routine to follow through. She did have a quote on there that I had written down after I was taking the notes, and it said, I want you to be the rock that causes the ripple. And I really liked that. And it makes me think about, your team is going to grow healthy when they see you working. So you're the rock that's causing the ripple. You work hard. You're going to teach your runners to work hard. Your level ones are going to see and feel the culture and the work ethic and the training, and they're going to duplicate that and learn how to do the same and pass it down to them. She was really all about working on ourselves. So in this business, we always talk about loving on people and pouring in them. And we tend to pour so much into everybody else that we can sometimes lose sight of our own. sometimes lose sight of our focus or lose sight of our own business. So it's really about don't forget to pour into ourselves as well, because then we'll be running on empty and not have anything to give back. So that was a little bit lengthy, but I have, so those are some notes from Carrie Wilkerson and then some of the top tips. But did I go through that too fast? Do you guys have any questions on that?
You did awesome.
Well, thanks. I like those. I really want to read her blog because I and I'm excited she'll be at Leaders Retreat, and we'll be able to, Ruth and I'll be able to bring so much home to you guys. And I know that because she, spoke at the Emerald Extravaganza, I can be pretty confident to say she'll have new material and new ideas and fresh things to say at Leaders Retreat. So it probably wouldn't be the same things. So Ruth, do you want to, I know we have like 8 minutes left, but do you want to talk about the September incentive or any of the ideas, or I can go into that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, what we're finding is that the messages, the first pass at these messages that we've been sending based on the Bridget Ryan and Amy Paul phone call is that, the script that we sent out isn't feeling like us when we're leaving these messages. And so I think that the way that I've reframed it with my team this week is that the key to this is short and sweet and a lot of them. So making your messages really, really short as you can, at least. I would say under a minute or a minute, and a lot of them. So, reaching out authentically, I think that the structure of it's really good. Hey, how's it going? Make sure you look at their page and see if they've recently been on a vacation or if they've, had something, kind of monumental happening in their life. You can mention that, or gosh, your kids have gotten so big, a personal salutation on each message. And then, saying something, I typically say something like, I found some products that have, radically changed my health for the better. I was really sick before I found them, and I've fallen into the business side of it because my results were so extreme, and I'm really passionate about helping people, feel better. And then I've kind of been switching the focus a little bit. Nicole, I want to talk to you a little bit about this, maybe offline. Maybe this would help somebody else. But if I leave a message and I end it with something to the effect of, certainly if you're struggling with something, diabetes, autoimmune, GI issues, seasonal allergies, chronic sinus issues, I would love to help you. But if more than anything, if you know someone or care about somebody that's struggling with these issues, I would love the opportunity to try to help them. My question would be, I've left probably 50 to 60 messages, this last week. What would be the follow-up message to that? If I've left it like, if you know someone, what do I then say?
That's a good question.
I think it's important. I've only had a couple people out of that number of people that have responded. And
are you talking about if you've left that one and there's crickets, there's not?
Yeah. And I don't think it's crickets. I
right.
don't think, I left it in a way that it was more letting them know I'm doing this. Like, it's not leaving it with a question. So I need to come up with a good, reason. And maybe it's an incentive. Maybe it's I'm covering shipping till the end of the month. I just wanted to let you know.
And this is a good leeway into, we were talking offline about, with the September incentive, 3 preferred customers, 3 ambassadors, you get an extra $100 from Plexus, which is awesome. That's their September incentive. And we still have some days left. I know it feels like September's almost over, and it kind of is, but we still have a lot of time to do this. But this could be something, kind of going off of your messages. We had talked about doing a flash sale, and these have worked really well in the past, but doing it to where we can kind of phrase it, and this would be levels 1 through 4, my levels, and for all of those of you that are new, we could further explain this, but this would basically be an incentive for people to join for $5. And that is coming from $10 coming from me, $10 coming from the person who's below me, my level one, and then kind of piggybacking onto that. And we can talk about this, later and make it big, but this could be an incentive where it's giving you a reason to reach out. We are also talking about our team doing, and I will have this group kind of up and running as soon as possible tomorrow, but we were talking about doing the haunted block party. And that was basically starting October 1st and going through I think it was for 60 days.
Yeah, so end of November.
Yeah, ending in November. But it was really just an incentive to say, hey, new and improved block, pair this up with Plexus Slim, and let's have a block party. And it could be kind of however you would like it to be, or we could kind of do it as a group. We're still kind of working through those details, but it's really an incentive to bring people on, to give our products a try it for the 60 days, have a reason to try Slim and Black. And that could be for everybody maybe that orders Slim and Black for this challenge, could be entered into a drawing for a free product, could be entered into a drawing for a gift card, whatever that looks like. But these are a couple of the things that we're working on to be an incentive to help boost us. If you guys are close to the 3 preferred customers, 3 ambassadors, let's help each other, and get people off of the fence. But those are just some ideas, I think, as far as if you're looking for a reason to reach out to someone, because if you've left it at, if you happen to know someone, you could follow back up with them and say, I don't know, almost kind of gearing it, if they haven't said that they're interested yet, but if you can leave it at that as a message and say, this is something that I wanted to tell you about. And again, if you know someone, please feel free to pass this along to someone, and we'd love to help them as well.
A couple of promotions happening.
Right.
Right here at the end of the month. There's one on the, I don't know, we could say, joining specials on the customer and the wholesale side. There's a group starting going into the holidays,
yeah, I think when it comes to
tell you more,
somebody not responding, and you're kind of leaving it as asking them if they do know anybody that could feel better, they might be taking some time to think about who they might know, or they could, they'll think about you down the road when they have their friend who is feeling terrible and they need some relief, or they're desperate and they want to find some help. But I think the constant, or not the constant, but a stable dripping on that person, and just kind of, until you get that hard no, because that's essentially what we're going after, other than, yes, I want to try it. So I would just say, keep a record and keep track, kind of what we talked about earlier, of those people. And but right now, the incentives, I think, would be a really great way, or a good reason to follow up with them.
Yeah, I agree. I like it.
That's what I'm thinking. Does anybody, I think we might have lost Tara. I'm not sure. Does anybody have any questions? I know we have less than 1 minute. This one seemed to fly by.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. I think we should definitely flesh out the details of the haunted block party, and then also the flash sale, and let's try to get those out really quick for the end of the month push, and then have, the block party ready to go.
That's the goal for tomorrow, guys. So flash sale and haunted block party. Stay tuned, and we'll put some stuff on the team page. But thank you, guys.
Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.